Hello, I'm Richard Watson, and this is L'anglais the Easy Way. A new question for you. Why is it so hard to express myself in English? This comes back again and again from my students. People have trouble either building sentences or choosing their words or knowing the way that words fit together in English. And altogether, that comes together to mean they just don't feel that they're expressing themselves very well. There's one easy answer to that, but you might not want to hear it. It's that, unfortunately, you're probably just stupid in English. Now, I'm not saying you're stupid in other things, but that's the reality. Your memory is not good in English. You take a long time to understand words. You can't make the same associations and mental jumps as you would in your own language. If you're listening to someone speaking to you in a restaurant or another environment where there's a lot of noise, even with little pieces of their sentence, you can understand them. And you can't do that in English. So don't feel bad. We're all stupid in foreign languages. I can give you an example for myself of being in a dinner party with somebody that I'd just met who was a lawyer. And I'm not exaggerating. I literally felt like a chimpanzee sitting with a group of humans trying to follow their conversation. It was impossibly difficult. And every time I didn't understand, she'd go back and explain how she came to her conclusion, what her reasoning was. And when she laid it out in front of me, it was obvious. But I felt stupid. And I was. Simple. Have you ever had the experience of trying to repeat an English sentence? I get my students to do it a lot. They understand me well. And I say, well, tell me what I said. And they can't. They understood perfectly, but they can't tell me what I just said. I had the same thing when I was learning French. And I would tell my friends, can you say it again? And they'd say, you didn't understand? No, I did understand. But I want you to say it again so I can notice what tense you used and how you conjugated it. And if it was masculine or feminine, that kind of stuff. So a lot of my students, I ask them, repeat what I said. And they can't because by the time they get to the end of the sentence, they've forgotten the beginning. Again, that's kind of being stupid in a foreign language. Don't worry, everyone is. But that's something that you can practice. And basically, it works like this. It's a question of cognitive load. When you're working too hard at trying to understand things, trying to remember words, trying to make logical leaps to understand someone, you're working too hard. And you're not free to actually do the task you're trying to do, which is to understand. It's like when someone learns to drive. If you watch a new driver, they're in a panic. They're looking in the mirror, they're sweating, they've got too many things to remember. Push the clutch in, here's the brake, careful of which gear you're in, etc., etc. There's a lot of things you need to keep juggling in your mind to drive properly at first. And watch the same person 5 years later. 5 years of experience of driving, they don't need to think about any of those things. They can argue with their wife or their girlfriend while they're driving and not have an accident. It's called removing cognitive load. And things that you do a lot, you can do easily. It's kind of a magic thing that humans do, or a superpower that we have, that our brain will take care of things for us if we do them enough. And everyone in their job knows this. You do something every day, it becomes easy. And someone who doesn't know your job, who tries, it's incredibly difficult. So, how do you get that then for language? It's about repeating. Repetition beats effort. People learn at school, especially in a country like France, if you want to learn something, or if you want to make progress, make more effort. It's the wrong approach. If you want to make progress, repeat something. And repeat it lightly. Repeat it in a fun way. That's how we get good at things. So, how do you get good at speaking? Well, speak. How do you get good at listening and understanding? Listen and understand. Again, I can tell you from my experience that when I first started French, I couldn't understand a word when I first arrived in France. Not a word. I arrived in France by accident. I think I had maybe 3 words. Bonjour, magnifique, and maybe 5. 1, 2, 3. That's about it. That was my whole vocabulary. Not a bad vocabulary, good working vocabulary, but not enough. And so how do you actually improve that? Well, you practice listening. There's no other way. It doesn't have to be easy. You don't have to understand it all, but you do have to practice it. And in a way, that makes perfect sense. We always get good at things we practice. And unfortunately, in our culture, the practice doesn't have a great image. We think about knowledge a lot. We think about academic stuff. We think about intellectual stuff. But the practice is what makes it work. And every person you know who speaks good English, who understands English easily, I guarantee they've had a lot of practice. That's the bottom line. There's no way you can make progress without practice. But guess what? It's the same for everything. If you can play the guitar, I guarantee you've spent time practicing. If you're good at a sport, I guarantee it's the same thing. English is not something apart from everything else. It's not in a black box. It's exactly like every other activity that you want to get good at. You just have to do it, and do it kind of seriously, and do it a lot, and consistently, remember? Anyway, that's enough of me going on about this. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.